Another Bleach episode here and another one in the books. Episode 22 was another good one, March of the Zombies. And I will say that we're very close to the end of this season, whatever you want to say it. Because for those that don't know, episode 25 and 26 are going to be consolidated and be an hour long. And then we're going to be without Bleach for a little bit until it comes back once again. But in the meantime, let's enjoy what we can. First off, let's go into the differences between the episode and the manga. First things first, this point right here. In the episode, we see how Chad, Orihime, Ichigo are talking about Ishida and what happened, why he's defected, and what they should do about it. In the manga, Chad wasn't this passive. Chad was in the rubble, and then he comes out, grabs Ichigo, and literally throws him into a building because he was trying to help Ichigo get over his funk. Ichigo still had the same pose that he was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? But Chad was like, nope. It just took him and threw him in the wall. And it's like, we're in a battlefield right now. And whatever his reasoning, we'll figure that out and blah, blah, blah. He basically says the same stuff, but he wasn't like letting, as he's doing now, just letting Ichigo talk. No, he was like, let's get over this. We're in a battle. Let's figure things out. Let's move it. So that was actually one huge difference, but there was still a few more. This moment, which actually makes sense while it was cut out, but Yumichika is over there talking to the zombie girl and reveals the fact that you're not a girl, you're a guy, which is kind of a bombshell because it's like, oh, okay, we're thinking that the whole group were a group of girls, but technically we know that this one is actually a guy. But the biggest thing was he didn't just say like, you're a guy. If you notice, he's covering his face because he actually says it's obvious to tell that you're a guy because you smell like semen. So he is covering his nose and mouth because that is when he's saying that he can smell semen on him. And then that's when he gets mad and calls in Bambi to come and fight them, which I can understand why it was cut because, but they could have kind of maybe said it differently, but I don't know. It was still a funny line, if you will, and of course makes it understandable why he's covering his nose and mouth here. But it was actually a pretty interesting revelation because it's like, oh snap. It doesn't matter their sexual orientation, but it was, an interesting, I guess, surprise, if you will. So the last difference, or last major difference, and actually a very funny moment that happened in the manga. You see here Yurichi showing up and how she's just kind of like, hey guys, what's up? Well, in the manga, before she shows up, Chad is like, they're all sitting in the cannon. Chad goes to Ichigo, hey, Ichigo, while we're sitting here talking, and now we have a moment, what do you think of Orihime's clothes? And then he's like, wait, what? And then he kind of just peers over to Orihime, and then Orihime's starting to feel embarrassed. And he's like, Ichigo basically says, well, maybe she's showing a little too much skin. And so Orihime just kind of like gets super embarrassed, and it was actually kind of a funny moment because she's trying to cover up. All of a sudden, Yurichi comes in, and it's like when she shows up, she tries to hold Orihime, but her hand is in between Orihime's boobs. And it's like, wait a minute. So then Orihime backs up. Yurichi goes to Ichigo and hits him. And it's like, you don't ever say that about a girl that she's showing too much skin. The least you can do is say, hey, it looks nice, or you look cute, or I want to hold you in my arms now. Just little funny moments like that. And then they kind of get into everything. But it was very funny how they had the embarrassing moment and they addressed what she's wearing, which Urahara was the one that actually made the clothes for her. And he said in the manga that he made it because Ichigo would like it. And then of course she's like, yeah, that's great. Yurichi was like, yeah, only a maniac and a lecher would make something like that, which was another funny moment. So basically this whole scene was really funny. But in the anime, they kind of made it a little serious because then they started talking about the whole energy and disturbances and stuff, which they did talk about that in the manga, but they just preceded such a serious moment with such a very funny lighthearted moment, which would have been very awesome to actually see here and animated, because it would have been absolutely hilarious. But that's probably the biggest regret I can see in this episode. So if you get the chance to check out the manga for this scene alone, it was kind of funny. But getting back to the analysis, here we have the Arankars are back. For those that are Bleach fans, you know perfectly well who these people are. And for those that are not, they're just getting into the season. Essentially, these were enemies that our heroes took out at one point in time. They do talk about who killed whom, so then that way you can kind of see like what happened there. And of course, a lot of funny moments that they did actually include here in the actual anime. So it's pretty cool that they actually brought out, and the whole zombie on zombie fight, if you will. Overall, I would have to give it up to the Captain Kurotsuchi. He keeps showing why he's intelligent, why he is smart. And of course, the previous scene talked about Urahara, how he's intelligent, but of course, how Kurotsuchi is not to his level. So of course, it's the whole scientist on scientist battle. And one thing about Kurotsuchi is he doesn't have to fight people with his Zanpakuto, which is actually pretty interesting that he actually brings all these tools and gadgets like he did earlier with the Bambi fight, with the little balls, if you will. But here he's like, you know what? You got zombies? Hey, I got zombies too. But my zombies have a little bit more personality than your zombies do. The whole zombie on zombie fight, you actually can understand why it was titled this episode. And the next episode is also part 2 because of what happened at the end here. Thinking everything was said and done, bam, Captain Hitsugaya has been turned into a zombie, which, oh man, not only does it feels bad that he was turned into a zombie, but look at his clothes. He doesn't even have the Soul Reaper clothes on him anymore. He is sitting here with the Quincy clothes. So they had time to not only change him into a zombie, but like, here you go, here's some clothes for you to wear in this coming battle. So it sucks that this is where the episode ended because, man, I was looking at, when I reacted to this, I straight up was like, when did she get a chance to turn him into a zombie? Because, you know, I guess they probably attacked one of the healing areas, like, you know, when they were previous episodes ago, where they were like, oh, we need to go heal at a destination and such, and then they got attacked. Probably got turned there as far as off, you know, off screen, off camera. Because even in the manga, it doesn't like show the precise moment when they get turned, but it's just the result of after effect, like, look who's the next zombie, you know, and it's of course a captain, so good luck on that one. This isn't gonna bode too well. Overall, I think this episode showcased the power levels of different characters. Like, we have Captain Kurotsuchi, and we can see how he's strong through his intelligence, and how here you have all the different captains. For example, Hitsugaya getting taken over. That different captains are at different levels. There's not necessarily like a power leveling system, if you will, between the captains, but you can tell in different fights like who's stronger than whom, depending on what is battled. Now, granted, there are weaknesses. For example, Hitsugaya is an ice user, so of course, going against Basbi, that is the fire user, he's at a clear weakness because he's trying to use his ice against fire. While another captain that has a different ability, of course, might have a better time. Kind of like a rock, paper, scissors moment, if you will. But here you have Captain Kurotsuchi that uses science and intelligence to do different things, because we know from previous episodes in Bleach how he's modified his Zanpakuto or modified his Bankai to do different things and perform differently, which honestly he's kind of the only captain that's able to do that. All the other captains have to learn through hard work, and for example, we know Renji, who just recently have an upgraded version of his Bankai, but that was because of the training he did in the Zero Division, and now he's able to come back, and it's a more sophisticated, better version of his Bankai. Yet, this guy is like, yeah, I don't really need training, I just need science to change my Bankai to be whatever I want it to be, and he's able to overpower, as in this case, using those balls to overpower Bambi, or Bambi, Bombi, whatever you want to say. But, you know, Bambi, she's dead and a zombie now. So it's actually I'll skirt this moment as well. It's kind of interesting that her personality is totally different now that she's being controlled. But honestly, it makes sense because she's a zombie now. But regardless, tell me what you guys think, because like I said, the captains are all different. And then of course you have Ichigo, who keeps training over and over and over again, who essentially is like the upper echelon of captains and power levels, if you will. But let me know what you guys think about the captains and their powers and different things. It's something I've always thought about as far as whenever I do see the captains, like what is their ability? How can it be stronger? And is the opponent they're fighting like a weakness for them? Or even if it is a weakness, are they able to just overpower them? I mean, I know this would go into a whole nother segment about power levels of characters and captains and stuff, which is a whole nother can of worms, but let me know what you guys think. I think it's a pretty interesting topic overall. But definitely make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed for more analysis on this, Bleach, and other anime on the channel. Tune here first. You guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Make sure to check out the extra content on our Patreon page, and thanks to our current patrons.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. Phenomenon.